It's really nice to take a deep breath after finals for a second. I think I was like giving my final today too, and I realized just coming out of it, it's like, this is intense. Um, so, welcome to our first session of Gateway presentations. To give you guys some background for those who aren't familiar with these presentations and how they work, um, one of the things that we ask seniors to really reflect on during their spring semester is the different ways in which they've grown at Oak Grove, and not just at Oak Grove, but over the course of their high school career, and to think of it really as this like journey of here I am right now. I'm on the precipice of moving on to the next phase of my life, and it's a good time to look back and consider some of the big changes that have happened during their life and some of the self-realization that they've gone through in that process. Another way to think about it for the students who are here, it's also kind of like a public student-led conference where you're always asked to demonstrate your growth, provide evidence of your growth. But luckily, you aren't always asked to do that in front of like all your peers and your parents and your teachers and everybody. But it's fun. It's great, and for us, it's a good time to see everyone and really celebrate this journey that we go on in high school. The other thing that will be shared during these is the students do a pathless project each year. The seniors do, and this is for those of you guys who want to visualize it. It's like, imagine you had 10 days to execute this project that you designed that could be anything. It could be like, I'm going to choreograph the world's best dance routine and record it and submit it to a competition. I'm going to go on a backpacking trip all by myself and plan it and figure that out. I'm going to bring awareness to an issue and actually find a congressperson and pin them down and try to find out what is their position on this issue. And over the course of the next few days, you'll hear about these guys' projects. And if you're a student who's here, again, I want you to think about, hey, if I had 10 days, what would I do? And it's kind of a fun idea. Lastly, so after each presentation, there's a chance to ask some questions. I encourage you guys to ask these guys questions about their life. If there's something you want them to expand a little bit more on, just feel free to be like, can you talk more about that? And in terms of being a good audience, all I'd ask is we're going to have 4 presentations today. And after the first 2, we'll have a chance just to get up and stretch and maybe go use the restroom if you need to. But let's avoid just walking in and out while people are speaking. All right. So best for first. But everyone's the best. I can't really say that, but we got Harrison.
Hey, hello everyone. Welcome to my Gateway presentation. Okay, so an introduction. Hi, my name is Harrison Love, as you know, and I've been at Oak Grove School for 3 years. The first 2 was for 7th and 8th grades, and then the last year was for my senior year of high school. The photo on the left, you can see there, is me on my first day of school back in 7th grade. I chose this artifact because it signifies my first step into an unknown experience. I knew some people there who already welcomed me with their gracious hospitality, and I was excited to see what was in store. The photo on the right is from the middle school Wyoming science trip from 8th grade. I chose this artifact because this was my first time having a phone, and thus being able to communicate with people on a more active basis. Also, I think this was I'm pretty sure this was my first selfie, but I don't know. Okay. Oh, sorry. Not yet. Okay. The reason why I left Oak Grove in the first place is because Villanova Preparatory School was a bigger high school and it also had a theater program, which at the time I thought would be a more efficient way to do everything in one place. I did have some great experiences there, but the time I got to my senior year, I realized that there were very few creative options to choose from. So I began exploring what the classes and electives that would be open to me at other schools. And I found that they were much greater at Oak Grove. I also decided to come back to Oak Grove because the theater and poetry programs would be a great experience for me and also would align with the career interests I want to pursue. Next year, I plan on attending Santa Barbara City College so I can explore more of the topics I'm interested in pursuing in college, which are theater and filmmaking. Okay, the first art is the art of academia. And what this means to me is that one is willing to learn more about themselves and the world around them. And I chose this reflection question that you see, what is a particular subject that has challenged me, because I could relate to it the most. Math, for some reason, is something I have a much harder time understanding than English or history. I completely understand the 4 basic operations, but when you add more complex formulas, such as ones from geometry or trigonometry, my mind becomes foggy. It could be because it's not an exciting medium of problem solving like literature is. It's just numbers that have no compelling or emotionally complete meaning. No offense to any math lovers out there. Although I can do well in math. For example, one time when I took geometry, I was stuck on a few problems and decided to go to my teacher for help. He was able to help me understand what I was stuck on, and I was able to use that newly acquired knowledge to help me with a math test that I had a few days later. I ended up doing pretty well on it. My artifact that you see here is a test exam that I did in my Algebra 2/trigonometry class. We did a chapter where it was a preview of calculus, essentially. It symbolizes my willingness to overcome my problem with math because I'm able to put in a lot of successful effort once I'm able to get enough help that enables me to understand such things. The art of caring in relationships. What the art of caring in relationships mean to me is that one is willing to care about others and not be afraid of socializing with them as well. I chose this reflection question: in what ways have the relationships that you formed at school influenced you? Because I immediately thought of some great friends I had over the years. I've created deep bonds with others by being more open to them. For example, my best friend Gray. We met this year and I never knew that we would grow so close. At first, we bonded over similar interests. We both liked movies, TV shows, and music. However, it wasn't really until it opened up about an issue that was plaguing my mind that our friendship started to slowly deepen. Also, it wasn't until the Hawaii trip where it became the deepest it had ever been. She had to leave early to deal with a family matter, and I consoled her when she needed it most. I am grateful for meeting her because she's the first friend I have truly opened up to. Sure, I've had bonds with other friends, but I've never really let them know about my thoughts and musings. I don't let them know because I have developed a fear of failing / being rejected by others, and I've been like this since I was a child. However, I have since learned to be selfless, joyful, understanding, and never fearful. I've gotten to know many others, and I don't really regret that. My artifact is a selfie with Gray, and this symbolizes how I can overcome my social anxiety by being fearless and trusting with others. Okay. The art of engagement, and what this means to me is that one is willing to challenge themselves and see things in a new light. I chose this reflection question: in what ways have you become more or less motivated and / or self-directed? Because I knew I had a lot of experience with this subject. Sorry, I just lost my train of thought. I've had trouble with defeating procrastination. It comes from being discouraged from a task that I don't fully know how to do. Thus, I let procrastination take over and I lose progress. For example, when I was taking a Latin language class, me and my fellow students had to do an assignment. The assignment itself was translating a poem from Latin to English. I felt motivated and energized to get it done. However, a thought came into my head that was news about a new film that had just come out at the time. Being the local cinephile, I impulsively looked up information on it instead of doing my work. After some time had passed, I realized that I had wasted time and got to work translating the poem. I was able to turn it in on time. However, I had been able to slowly start losing this habit. But I let myself go right back into procrastinating again. All I have to do is just keep going and never lose faith in myself. My artifact, as you can see here, is a Latin poem I try to translate, and symbolizes my struggle with procrastination. What the art of communication means to be is that one is able to communicate clearly with others and is content with how others respond to them. I chose this reflection question: how has my ability to communicate with my peers improved over my high school career? Because I knew that I have gotten better at communicating my ideas with my peers. For example, one of my friends from Villanova and I were both in The Music Man our freshman year of high school. I had the role of the lead, Harold Hill, and while she was part of the ensemble. We connected over our common interests before, during, and after the production had finished. Her name is Joanne, and she is kind and can be just as enthusiastic as I can be about the things we're interested in. Another friend, Earl, and I connected over our love of music and film, and had lots of great long conversations. He had this great concept he's working, and I was very interested in, where he wants to build a 13-note scale instead of what exists now, which is a 12-note scale. I also enjoy connecting with my friend Christian Mulhart over our similar senses of humor. We share memes and all kinds of funny videos. I want to say something about the art of communication and COVID. Not only did I find myself going to school online for a period of time, but also found that the theater performances were no longer happening. It was such a great experience to be able to get back to the theater to do the Sound of Music here at Oak Grove this year. I didn't realize how much I missed not only performing, but also attending productions and supporting other artists and friends. My artifact is the poster for my production of The Music Man, and it symbolizes my appreciation for the wonderful art of communication. My pathless project. What made me decide on this project was my love of prehistoric animals. I remember from a very young age, I was fascinated with all kinds of prehistoric creatures. To be more specific, I was fascinated with how they looked and how they behaved. I thought they did the things that they did in an engaging and dramatic fashion. I became obsessed with prehistoric animals. I was able to pronounce 3 to 4 syllable dinosaur names at a very young age. However, this project changed. How this project changed and developed over time was a learning moment for me, and it also helped me develop a sense of purpose in my life. By doing something I love studying about and figuring out a way to share it. By writing a children's book, I hope that inspires other kids to explore dinosaurs and connect with their quirky, funny looks and names. This project challenged me because although I kept the same theme from a pathless project, I changed it from a sculpture made out of recycled materials to a book. I made a small model with some recycled materials. However, I realized that I didn't really put my best effort into it, and it wasn't really representing my enthusiasm for dinosaurs that I had hoped. But thankfully, I was able to come up with a replacement project that was more in my wheelhouse of expertise. I emailed Jody, explaining to her that the recycled statue idea didn't work out and that I was sorry about the change. I suggested to her that writing a book about dinosaurs would be better and easier for me, and she agreed. I had no prior experience making a statue out of recycled materials, so I was basically screwed. But I felt confident that I could do it because I had a strong will. Although I probably should have thought twice about it because my will can get me into trouble sometimes. I was able to dive into the book project, work with Jody and Adrienne, and he even got an opportunity to collaborate with my friend Gray, who did the illustrations of the character Harry. There he is on the front cover. Who's the younger version of me? This is supposed to be me when I was 9, so yeah. I am especially grateful for the help Jody gave me during this time. Through the advice she gave in our meetings, I was able to quickly move forward. This project definitely influenced my future by letting me make sure to spend more time planning and successfully executing my plans. Finally, on my birthday, I ran my book to part of the elementary school at the pavilion. As you can see from my artifacts, from those pictures there, and with Ron as well, I was enjoying teaching the kids about the different dinosaurs of the late Jurassic period. Even Ron himself said some meaningful words after I had finished. I hope every single one of you challenges yourself. And as you can see, there's the 2 emails, and then the picture on the bottom middle is my design for what the statue was going to look like. Yep. Hawaii was crazy. Okay. One artifact that symbolizes my time here at Oak Grove would be this picture from Hawaii. As you can see, the senior class is at Pineapple Park, a hostel in Kona, waking up and trying to have some breakfast. I think we were also trying to figure out what we were going to do that day. As you can see, I am in the background with my hands on my neck. Despite being a somewhat funny visual, I know I wasn't feeling the best there. The second photo is from the last performance of The Sound of Music. Richard Badami, our director, surprised the seniors who are part of the cast, Gray, Parker, and myself, by asking us to come forward and receive flowers from her. It was a nice moment that I look back on fondly. Anyway, both artifacts show how fun, chaotic, and enlightening my time here at Oak Grove was. Looking back, I am truly grateful for the growth I have experienced here. What I am nervous and excited about for life after Oak Grove is going even more outside my comfort zone. These artifacts, which are the Santa Barbara State College logo and fragments of the unfinished script for the short film the film club unfortunately never got to make, Multiversal Paradox, symbolize my feelings because I am nervous but also excited about actually finishing the film script and going somewhere where I will meet people that I don't know. I'm very passionate and curious about a lot of things, and I want to take advantage of this year that I have to explore as many of these different areas that I can. I am passionate and curious in taking classes in theater, filmmaking, screenwriting, dance, psychology, and astronomy. I would like to explore some of these before I go to college. Also, over the summer, I'll be doing 2 different productions with the Rubicon Theater Company. Those are Shakespeare's... Those are Shakespeare's As You Like It, followed by a musical production of Mamma Mia. I know Russ is going to like that one. A more serious production, followed by a lot of singing and dancing, which is a great way to kick off the next chapter of my life. Thank you. Okay, questions. Yes, Ame.
Could you pass your book around so we can...
Yes. Yeah, pass it around, yeah. Yep, it's all about the dinosaurs of the late Jurassic. As I said before, Gray did the illustrations and I did the writing, and I think the kids really seem to enjoy it. There's a copy at the main house if you guys want to check it out at any time. Earl.
When you were super little, what started your love of
I'm sorry, say again?
When you were super little, what started your love for dinosaurs?
I think it was watching, I still own these several dinosaur documentaries. Yeah, I remember watching them over and over and just thinking, I love this. Yeah. Yes, you.
What is your plan for the book now that you have a book?
I've already given a few copies to some people, but I can definitely give more if more people want copies. I mean, I wasn't planning on selling it, although my mom did suggest the idea that I could do like sequels to this and, you know, make some money, but yeah. Zeph.
How did you make the book? Like, with the whole bookness of it?
So I actually use nice way of putting it. I use Canva to display make the cover, and then I use Shutterfly to make the rest of the book. So, yeah. Okay, thank you.
All right. Julia, I believe, is next, correct? Or Sieren? Sieren. Oh, I know we're good. Okay. Well, let's do. Can we do you, Sieren? And. I know. I know. Well, you're the last of the first two.
But I was not mentally prepared for this. Okay. All right. Okay. Welcome to my gateway. It's not expecting to go this soon, but here we are. Hello, my name is Sieren Clayton. My pronouns are they, them, and I have attended Oak Grove since I was a tiny little fourth grader. I came from Oak Grove from Miners Oaks Elementary School because I was needing a change from the friendship dynamics that I was experiencing. Coming to Oak Grove was definitely the right decision. In the fall, I will be moving out of state to attend Willamette University. All right, the art of caring in relationship. To me, this art means the connections that one has cultivated with oneself and others through understanding and learning how to take care of yourself and those around you. So for my focus question, I chose, how has your relationship with yourself shifted throughout your time in high school? So for me, high school has been like the first time that I was able to experiment with my gender expression and kind of learn about myself and that part of myself. So ever since I was 8 years old, I was very into gymnastics, and gymnastics is a very gendered sport. I had to keep my hair long so I could put it up nicely for competitions. There was a certain uniform, and it was very difficult for me to kind of feel like I had the space to experiment with the way I presented myself. But freshman year, I ended up tearing my ACL and got knee surgery, and that kind of began my kind of exit from doing gymnastics. But that gave me the space to kind of play with my gender expression, and so immediately I cut all my hair off. And so these are a few photos from, I believe, freshman and sophomore year. And I also realized going through all these photos that all of them I am wearing button-up shirts. So another part of that. There's also a drawing that I did that just kind of feels very gender. For these next photos, they're from junior and senior year, and that was kind of where my journey with my gender kind of really took off. So it was about this time that I started experimenting with different pronouns, and I went from using she, her pronouns to she, they pronouns to they, she pronouns to now finally they, them. And I kind of realized that although I really enjoy presenting femininely, I am not a girl, and, you know, people perceive me as a girl sometimes, and that's something that I've had to work through and deal with. But using they, them pronouns, and then getting my first binder, which, if some of you don't know, a binder is a compression garment for people who are assigned female at birth, to help have a flatter chest. And so that really helped me kind of feel more comfortable presenting femininely. And then, most recently, I decided to change my name. And so I really wanted to have a more masculine name to also kind of offset my feminine presentation and make me feel more comfortable within my identity. And so Sieren is a traditionally masculine name, and I have really loved it, and it's been really amazing to have this community be so accepting and just take it completely in stride, and it's just been really, really awesome. And so this has kind of all been culminating in me winning prom king. So this was very, very exciting for me because it kind of felt like, you know, I was struggling with thinking people perceive me as a girl, or people are perceiving me as a girl, but then being in this community and feeling so accepted, and then winning prom king and being like, oh, wow, maybe people actually perceive me how I want them to. Like, it was very cool. So, thank you. The art of communication. To me, this art means the ways in which we learn to share ideas and communicate effectively with those around us. For my focus question, I chose, how has your ability to communicate improved over your high school career? So I have struggled with speaking up my entire life. And I remember freshman year sitting in Will's class and just spending my entire time praying that I wouldn't be called on, and just like hiding in the corner like, ooh, don't call on me. And, you know, that was noticed by Will and evidenced by this comment that I got freshman year. So this was what Will wrote. Sieren had an excellent semester. I appreciate their diligence in completing assignments and their ability to remain focused during class. In terms of growth, I would like to see them participate more often in class discussions, as participation helps students clarify and better understand the subject matter. So, obviously, I had work to do. Junior year was when I really kind of stepped up to the plate and was able to put in that work. I ended up joining student council, and it was a big step out of my comfort zone because I kind of felt like student council was for like extroverted people who already are good at sharing ideas and like, you know, have those leadership skills already. But it was a really, really amazing space for me to kind of work on gaining those skills. And if any of you students in the audience have had a similar experience as me, I would really, really highly recommend joining student council. Yeah. It's such a great experience. And so I have another comment from Will from junior year. It says, in advisory, we continued the process of goal setting and self-reflection. Students were asked to choose goals relating to college readiness and social emotional health, and to report on their progress meeting those goals. Sieren chose to focus on communication skills as their area of growth. In their conference, they spoke about the challenges and rewards of working with their peers on student council and how it has helped them develop their communication skills and collaboration skills. I hope that they consider taking on the role of class representative next year as well. Sieren has also become a much more confident public speaker, and they often speak to the entire school at Stone Circle, which is something I could never imagine them doing a few years ago. And it's true. Obviously, this is more public speaking that is still very nerve-wracking for me, but I'm doing it and I'm not crying. And, you know, it's happening, and it's okay. So my next art is the art of academia. And to me, this art, double-sided paper, okay, means the ways in which you understand and work through your academic learning, both challenges and strengths. And my focus question is, how did your high school experience help you discover your strengths and deal with your challenges? So again, junior year, controversial speeches, everyone's favorite. So as me being afraid of public speaking, as soon as I found out that this was a thing freshman year, I was just like beyond terrified, like immediately. I was like, oh my God, I'm gonna have to do that in 2 years. And then again, sophomore year, watching the juniors again, I was like, oh my God, that's gonna be me next year. And I just like couldn't even process it like at all. It just seemed so unattainable and out of my reach. And so then, junior year, when I was already doing all this work, working on my communication skills, and then it came time to start working on our speeches, I was still terrified. I was just, completely paralyzed. I didn't even know what I wanted to talk about. I didn't know. I had no idea. And so what I ended up choosing for my topic was why gender-neutral bathrooms should be everywhere. And so this is a topic that I knew I felt very passionately about and would be able to speak about easily. And so that really helped me. Writing the speech was easy. I had a lot of thoughts, got that all squared away. It was when it came time to rehearse that it was like, oh God, how do I do this? And so I really just had to break it down step by step. I probably read through my speech about 100 times, like, not exaggerating. And I ended up recording myself speak so that I could get used to hearing my own voice and get comfortable with the flow of the words. And that really helped me. So as my artifact, I have, a video of my speech. I'm not going to play it with audio, so you still listen to me right now. But, as you can see, I was still kind of very nervous, having trouble looking up from my paper. Hopefully I'm doing a better job today. And, it was a huge challenge that I overcame, and I felt so relieved that I was able to do it, and it was really awesome. Okay, let's see. Okay. All right. The art of aesthetics. The art of aesthetics is really an important art to me because it's been just a really big part of my life for as long as I can remember. So the art of aesthetics means everything beautiful and artistic in my world and the ways in which I can share that beauty with others. For my focus question, I chose, how have you learned to express yourself creatively? So for me, in high school, I have discovered my two greatest passions, ceramics and poetry. So for ceramics, I have been doing it kind of off and on since I was about 8 years old, but it was always competing with gymnastics, competing with time for gymnastics. And so finally in high school, I had the time to really pursue it, and it's been amazing. This year I had the opportunity to take ceramics as an elective, and then also in my studio art elective do a ceramics independent study, and so I really got to dedicate all of my time to pursuing it, and it's been wonderful. So I have a few examples of some of my ceramics that was in showcase before being fired, and then this was my setup for showcase. This year you can see the big bowl. That was the biggest thing I have ever thrown. It was 12 pounds. It's a lot of clay. For context, a mug is about like 1 pound of clay. And so that's just been something that I've really learned that I really want to pursue in the future. So next we have poetry. And so my love of poetry really was sparked, as I'm sure many can relate, in Aaron Gardner's poetry class. And so it was 8th grade, and we were doing a poetry unit, and I was just like, that was the first kind of spark where I was like, whoa, wait, this is amazing. Like, this is such a cool way to express yourself. And so it's been a really amazing journey since then. So I would like to share a poem. It's called What is poetry to me? Poetry is an outlet, a light in a shadow, a breath in a storm. It is a way to communicate a passing truth, a fleeting emotion, or a lasting thought. It is a moment of reflection, a pause, but sometimes a war, with yourself or others come crashing down on a page, a crowd, or the floor. When you're too tired to lift your head from your hands, eyes heavy with tears, the droplets create poetry at your feet. So going into high school, I knew immediately that I wanted to start a poetry club. And so alongside Cassius, we founded Oak Grove's first poetry club. And for the first 2 years in high school, we met every single Tuesday after school for about an hour and a half, and we just wrote and shared. We went to poetry readings together, and it was just, we built such an amazing community. Now, since COVID and as things have gone on, it's been a lot harder to have meeting times, but I still know that we have that community, and that community is still there to support me and my poetry. And so it was through chasing my dream of publishing a poetry book that I came up with my Pathless project. And so for my Pathless project, I decided to design, letterpress print, hand bind, and self-publish a book of my own poetry. It was a very, very ambitious project, but it has turned out very well. So I'm gonna pass around a few books while I talk about this, because I feel like it might take a while for everyone to see it. But yeah, so my Pathless project, I had a very clear idea from the beginning. And I knew exactly what I wanted to do. I knew how I wanted to do it. I watercolored all of the covers, so each one is individual and different. The printing was a very big process. There were a lot of technical issues, but we got through it. It took me about a month, definitely more than the 10 days, but it has been so amazing. And so here's some photos from the printing process. And then when everything was done printing, in the photo in the middle, you can see all the pages laid out to be collated and bound. And so finished copy is being passed around, and there's a photo up here on the screen. And so I knew to end my Pathless project, I wanted to have a poetry reading, to share my book, and create a space for my poetry community that I love so much to share their own work. And so I had my poetry reading at the ranch house. I got to announce my book, which I have been selling. I printed an edition of 50 and have practically sold out, which is insane. But the reading really could not have gone better. It was such a special afternoon. And I'm very happy that, everything went how it did, because it was a lot of work, but it was definitely worth it. Looking back at life at Oak Grove. Now this is where I'm gonna try not to cry, so yay. So this photo on the left is a photo of the clearing in the little orchard that's just over there by the high school. And so this is where, no, I can't look at you. This is where Malia and I would go and write poetry junior year. And so junior year was really rough. And I think that year was rough for the both of us. Actually, no, I know that year was rough for the both of us. But this was, you're welcome, you love me. But this was our safe space. And this was where our connection really deepened, and we kind of just kept each other going. And so I want to share a poem that I wrote that year in that clearing. I want to fall in love with living, I want to fall in love with living, fall in love with every detail, the brush of a cat's tail as it passes by, and the whisper of a wish sent up to the big bright moon as it gazes upon you from its perch in the stars. I want to fall in love with living, fall in love with the comfort and safety of a warm embrace, the smile of someone you love, and the ache for togetherness that pulls you away from your cage of thoughts and theories. I want to fall in love with living, fall in love with the flicker of candle light and the magic of fog on a melancholy morning, fall in love with the tingling breath in your ear, full of butterflies and secrets. I wish to awaken every day to morning light trickling through the window and bees humming about the flowers, and fall asleep to soft breathing with warm tea beside me. I wish to fall in love with living. I think I can pretty confidently say that this year I have fallen in love with living, at very least, much more than last year. And that is absolutely due to the community that I have found and been able to cultivate here at Oak Grove. The support system I have found here has kept me growing and helped me grow mentally stronger. I'm extremely grateful for everyone here who's been there for me and supported me through everything. Malia, Parker, Lola, Allie, Jeremiah, everyone else. So, thank you. All right, looking forward to life after Oak Grove. Moving on from Oak Grove, I will be attending Willamette University in Salem, Oregon. And it's a small liberal arts college that is actually really similar to Oak Grove, with small class sizes, tight-knit communities, and an emphasis on student-teacher interactions. Oak Grove has shown me what I appreciate in my education, and without that, I would not have known what to look for in a college. I'm really happy with my decision, and I'm looking forward to growing and learning even more about myself and the world moving forward. I plan to study language and art, specifically ceramics and printmaking. I'm really excited to be in a new city and meet new people. And although change is really, really scary, I know that I'm ready and I have the skill set to be successful moving forward. Thank you. Questions? Miko?
Can I get some books?
Yeah. Earl?
Why did you pick an Oak Grove-like experience versus trying something different?
Well, I think kind of what it was for me is that I know that I enjoy this kind of learning environment, and it's been really supportive for me, and I really enjoy the connections between student and teacher. And so for college, like, it is definitely a bigger school than Oak Grove, and there's a lot of new opportunities that I'll still be able to have, and new experiences, but it still has that kind of feeling of connectedness that I love at Oak Grove. So, Meredy?
I'm curious with your, when you were talking about your fear of public speaking, whether it's different when you're doing poetry.
Oh, it is definitely different. I feel much more confident reading poetry than just normal public speaking, which I think makes no sense because poetry is extremely vulnerable. But for whatever reason, it's less scary. Russ?
When you say you're going to study language, do you know, like linguistics or a specific language?
I'm not really sure. I really want to study a bunch of different languages, and linguistics in general is also just really fascinating to me. So I'm going in undecided, but that is what I'm thinking I'll end up studying. Okay, thank you. And when everyone's done looking at the books, can I just get them back?
We didn't bring a red carpet, but we should have for Ravi.
Hi, I'm Ravi Segal. I'm a little bit unprepared for this, but I'm here. So, I moved to Ojai in 2012 when I was 9 years old, and I came to Oak Grove as per my parents' decision and not my own, seeing as I was 9 years old. But I joined a class that I would come to know a lot better than I thought I would. And I've stayed with mostly those same people for a decade. So it's been a journey, I guess. Yeah, my family moved to Ojai to get away from Los Angeles to come somewhere a little bit quieter. And I was at first kind of hesitant because LA was everything I had known. I was leaving friends behind, and I was going to this weird little hippie town in the middle of nowhere. We moved here in August, and I remember that it was 100 degrees out, and I walked into town, and it was a ghost town. And I thought, why are we here? But I'm glad I came here, and I think a lot of the people here have shaped me into who I am today. And they will continue to be influential in my life into the future. My two artifacts are these photos when I first started Oak Grove and recently. In 2012, that's me, dripped out with my flash hat and my cargo shorts. And on the right is, I don't have many pictures of myself, but that's a picture of me from last summer. Yeah. My first art is the art of academia, which to me means the pursuit of knowledge and the love of learning. And my focus question is, how have I become a better student through my years at Oak Grove? I chose this question because my approach to learning has been drastically changed over my 4 years at high school here. When I started high school, I was not the best student by any means, and I still do not consider myself a very academic person. But in the following years, sorry, I lost my place. In the following years, I learned how to enjoy the work I was doing and take full advantage of everything Oak Grove was offering me. It wasn't until my junior year that I realized that I really loved learning and that I really loved doing what I was interested in. It was just about finding what I was interested in. Now I follow what drives me and what interests me, and I find myself loving learning and loving to come back to school and be around a lot of great people and learn new things, as long as I'm interested in it and it's not calculus. My artifact for this art is a test I took early in my junior year, because I felt like my junior year was a really transitional period for me academically. That was when I really started to feel like I could put effort into what I was interested in. The test on the right is a test later in the year when I found that I really liked chemistry, and I would start doing research outside of school and asking questions and trying new things, and I ultimately was a lot better off for it. For so long I thought school was something that I just had to get through, but then I realized that there's value in being here, and I'm excited to go to college and learn what I'm interested in. The art of caring in relationships is my second art. To me, the art of caring in relationships means the ability to create and maintain good relationships with your friends, family, and peers. And being at such a small school, I think the art of caring in relationship is integral to surviving here. And my focus question is, how has the art of caring in relationship benefited me in my life? The art of caring in relationship has been very important to me in my later years of high school, especially during my junior year, because in quarantine we were all very isolated from each other, and that hit me very hard. I isolated myself from a lot of my friends and my family and my peers, and it really wasn't very healthy for me. But I neglected making an effort to talk to anyone. It was a rough time for me. But luckily, I got the opportunity to go out into the world for the first time since COVID over the following summer, and that helped me more than I could have ever imagined. Getting out into the world and meeting new people and meeting people after COVID, I think was a breath of fresh air. And when I got back, I realized that I really wanted to maintain those relationships and keep them going because they were really important to me. And I was glad to see when I came back, all my friends were still there and they still cared about me. Where am I? I went backpacking through Iceland for a while, and I came back, and immediately I went camping with my friends, and I think that was a turning point for me. We all connected again, and I feel like that really elevated our friendship in this recent year. Even outside of that, I've started to interact with a lot more people at school socially in this past year. I went to Mammoth with a few friends, and especially during our senior trip to Hawaii, I connected with a lot of people that I previously did not know very well, and I'm very thankful for that. The difference between my senior year and my junior year feels like night and day to me, and I'm extremely thankful for these relationships that I've had, and I am sure that they will continue to be helpful into my life. Yeah. That's a picture of us eating soft serve after prom. Yeah. And on the right is a picture of us when we first got out of the car of a 6-hour road trip to Mammoth. Yeah, we were all very, very mad at each other. My next art is the art of inquiry. Hold on. Oh, it's still there. Okay. It's not on my screen, sorry. The art of inquiry means, to me, challenging my own thinking and questioning the way I want to learn. And my focus question is, how has Oak Grove allowed me to change the way I learn? For the past few years, I've been really interested in filmmaking and cinematography, and though I always wanted to make a short film, I never did, and I don't know why. I just never really got around to it, I guess. But Oak Grove pushed me to make a short film of my own, and I found myself applying to college in my fall semester of my senior year, and I needed to make a short film, and I just said, why not? I'll just do it. And it turned out a lot better than I thought, and ever since then I've been making as many short films as I can, and I'm really loving it. But that really taught me that hands-on learning and learning through experience has been the best way for me to do what I like doing and to learn all the things I want to learn. Because before I had made any short films, I was researching films, I was critiquing films, I was watching them and seeing what I liked and didn't like and having all these ideas of what I wanted to create, but never actually putting that into effect. And as soon as I put that into effect, I feel like I've learned more in the past 4 months of making short films than I have in years of researching and wanting to make short films. Here is the first short film I ever made in partnership with Maxwell. This was for my University of British Columbia application, which I unfortunately did not get into. I got waitlisted, but all good. Didn't want to go there anyways. For some reason I can't see it. Oh, is it going?
Yeah.
Press F? Is it going? I can't see it on my screen. I'm just going to show the first little bit of it. I can't see it right now. Fortunately, we don't have the time to watch all of it, but just a little bit of it. My next art is the art of communication, which to me means the ability to properly communicate with others both socially and professionally. This means talking to teachers about concerns and questions you have, which is something I struggled with when I first got to Oak Grove. And my focus question is, how has Oak Grove enabled, encouraged, and taught me to effectively communicate with others? Oak Grove's we're back. Oak Grove's tightly knit community and close connection between teachers and students has allowed me to more effectively communicate with others when needed. Okay, hold on. Sorry. My mouse is gone now. Hold on. But I can't read the rest of my thing. I can't read half of my thing now. It's okay. I'm sorry. Being comfortable with my teachers has allowed me to ask questions and get proper feedback based on my personal needs, which I feel like has been really beneficial to me, seeing as I learn a lot differently than a lot of other people, and I'm sure everyone here has a different learning style and can speak to this themselves. But having that connection with your teachers, to me, is extremely important. When I first came to Oak Grove, in high school, when this started to matter, I barely spoke up in class. I barely asked questions when I needed help, and I wasn't comfortable talking to teachers because I believed that there was a separation between us. And over the years, I have realized that that separation is a lot smaller than I realized, and that teachers are here to help you, and they're here to see you succeed, and they want to do whatever they can for you. And that's when I started opening up, and I started asking questions and being okay with being wrong, and that helped me a lot. One big step in that was my controversial speech in my junior year. I hate public speaking. I'm not thrilled to be up here or be up on the stage next week, but I have gotten a lot better at it since my freshman year, so I'm very thankful for that. I can't really read that. Will says here. Okay. My artifact is this thing from Will, where he says, I want to focus on where he says, in terms of getting his work completed on time, he was good about checking in with me when he needed clarification about an assignment. In terms of growth, I would love to see Ravi take on a more active role in the classroom discussion. This was during my sophomore year when I was first transitioning into being more open with communication, and I was comfortable with talking to my teachers at that point, but not yet voicing my opinion in a group discussion. And I feel like I've gotten better at that. I can go into our inquiry sessions and I can voice my opinion and I can have a conversation, which I'm very thankful for, and I owe that to Oak Grove. This is my Pathless project. I don't know if it's up there. It's restricted. We're gonna have a problem with that, Will. My original idea for my Pathless project was to create a short documentary about rock climbing. It would follow my friends and I at Wheeler Gorge, and it would be separated into 4 parts, one for each of my favorite routes. After climbing and filming for 3 hours every day during my allotted time, I was surprised at how little footage I actually got. And this being my first time filming climbing, I neglected the amount of time it would take to set up proper safety gear and camera equipment before even shooting. Since my project has changed a lot since my first idea, it has been shortened and it has been simplified to being my own love letter to Wheeler Gorge, which is one of my favorite places to climb. Yeah, I hope to continue working on this into the summer, and I'm pretty happy with it, how it turned out. I do want to give a warning. This project is I felt really needed to be personal to me and express who I am in the type of climbing I do, in the people I hang out with, and also the music I listen to. So I did choose 2 songs here that have explicit language, and I just want to make that known. So if you have an issue with that, I would ask you to step out if you need to. But otherwise, I really wanted to express my creative freedom with it, which is something I like doing because my past short films have been very set in stone and rigorous, I guess. Oh God. Okay. I'm not even at the start. Okay. Is it full screen? Is it working? Okay, we're good.
Is it going? I've been climbing for, when did we start? I've been climbing seriously for about a year. There's some highlights. But one of my favorite routes in Ohio is Velocity Boy. It's on the edge of the highway in Wheeler Gorge, and the beginning part of it is really rough, especially if you're lead climbing, which means you're putting in the cliffs. You kind of have to go up the side of the highway and clip yourself in really far to the side, which is kind of rough, but it's a lot of fun.
I think Wheeler Gorge symbolizes like a really good shift in our friend group operated, and gave us a good opportunity to like go hang out and like just have cool adventures, just trying out random ropes, and all that kind of changed when we got our first set of ropes, because it meant we could lead climb and actually set anchors, etc. So it opened a lot of opportunities for us.
Ow.
You're supposed to yell rock.
Up the hill, trying to get a deal, trying to get a meal. Hungry on the beat, hungry so I eat. And I don't know the feet, I only know the heat. I only know the grind, I only know the sweet. Yo, I miss sweat, I only know the best. That's up on my chest, I only know the reps. I only know what's next, nothing more, nothing less. All on my name, I've been watching Notre Dame, and I'm trying to make moves. Yeah, I'm trying to make moves, and they trying to move chains. Put your gold on my name, put your gold on my name, put your gold on my name, put your gold on my name. I've been watching Notre Dame, and I'm trying to make moves. Yeah, I'm trying to make moves, and they trying to move chains. Put some gold on my name, put some gold on my name, put some gold on my name. Y'all trying to move chains, I ain't into playing games, I ain't into naming names, but I mean it just the same. When I name in the lights, and the lights turn to flame, and the flame turn to ash, but the gold will remain. Yeah, gold on my name, I've been watching Notre Dame, and I'm trying to make moves. Yeah, I'm trying to make moves, and they trying to move chains. Put your gold on my name, put your gold on my name, put your gold on my name, put your gold on my name. I've been watching Notre Dame, and I'm trying to make moves. Yeah, I'm trying to make moves, and they trying to move chains. Put some gold on my name, put some gold on my name, put some gold on my name. This ain't what you thought it was. This ain't for nights out or for good enough. This for early AM, still waking up.
No, I think the roots in Wheelers are just like, by and large, just like super good. Like, even though Donner Pass and like Tahoe's known for like having world-class climbing, like some of those routes are easily as good as ones we'd find in Donner. So it's really sweet to have it in our backyard. It's a beautiful place to climb as well. Like towards the end of the afternoon, like the sun like reflects on the rocks really nice, and the river running through is really pretty. And yeah, it's just a nice place to be.
Gold on my name, I've been watching Notre Dame, and I'm trying to make moves. Yeah, I'm trying to make moves, and they trying to move chains. Put your gold on my name, put your gold on my name, put your gold on my name, put your gold on my name. I've been watching Notre Dame, and I'm trying to make moves. Yeah, I'm trying to make moves, and they trying to move chains. Put some gold on my name, put some gold on my name, put some gold on my name. How you feel? Trying to keep it real, climbing up the hill, trying to get a deal, trying to get a meal. Hungry on the beat, hungry so I eat. And I don't know the feet, I only know the heat. I only know the grind, I only know the sweet. Yo, I miss sweat, I only know the best. That's up on my chest, I only know the reps. I only know what's next, nothing more, nothing less. All on my name, I've been watching Notre Dame, and I'm trying to make moves. Yeah, I'm trying to make moves, and they trying to move chains. Put your gold on my name.
This project brought me a lot closer to it. And climbing kind of gave me a new outlook on nature, and not just appreciating it, looking at it, and viewing it from an outside perspective of how I can interact with nature in a non-intrusive way. That's what Wheelers Sports provides me, and I hope I can kind of provide that motivation and appreciation to others.
Oh, the speech. Put the speech away.
The speech, get the speech out. Okay.
Are we back?
We back?
No, we're not back. That's the
Okay.
part of my speech.
Sorry about the speech, Ravi. Are we in? I just keep on doing this to him. I'm sorry, Ravi.
Hit
There you go.
slideshow. Okay, we'll go
Okay.
from here now.
Now you're in.
That's good. Oh, wait, now I can't see my things.
You're just gonna have to ad-lib.
Okay, I'm gonna ad-lib it, I guess. I forgot everything I wrote. Sorry for the technical difficulties. Trying my best. This is my final summary. On the top is my first class photo, which was in 3rd grade, and some of those people are in the photo below, which is our senior prom photo. It's been a long time, and I'm sad to see it go. I've met a lot of great people here, and I'm always going to come back, and it's a great place. Next year, I'm going to be attending the University of California, Santa Cruz to get my Bachelor of Arts. I will be studying film and digital media, and I'm excited for what the world has to offer. Santa Cruz is a little bit of a jump from a school like Oak Grove, but I think I'm ready for it. And I think it's gonna be a good change. Plus, I'm gonna be a banana slug, so that's fun. I chose UC Santa Cruz because of its programs. It has an amazing film program, and a lot of the professors are really respected in the film world. So I'm looking forward to classes and new experiences, and I also love the redwoods. So, yeah, that's it. I think that's it, I guess. Cosmo.
One word to encapsulate this
This
year.
year? Nostalgic. I think this year has reminded me a lot of the younger years when I was here at Oak Grove. Zephyr.
What other classes are you going to take at UC Santa Cruz?
I'm hoping to try a lot of things. I really want to try philosophy and psychology. I'm interested in game design and computer programming. So everything, I guess. Gray?
Did you use After Effects to edit your video, or was it like other methods?
I used Adobe. Yeah. Oliver? On YouTube.
And what was it called?
Wheeler Gorge. If you want the link, you can ask me and I can send it to you. The other one? What was Lost in the Woods? Bad title. Ananya.
What's your favorite aspect of the filming process?
I think the visual aspect of it. I started with photography, and I've always loved that, and then I got into film, so cinematography, and yeah, I want to be a DP. Zeph again?
What more are you going to add to the movie?
I don't know. It's not everything I had hoped. I want to add a few more routes to it. I want to add more interviews and just make it longer and polish it. So, what? Gibraltar. Yeah.
All right. Thank you, Ravi.
Yeah.
I would like everyone to give a warm welcome to Julia, who's super excited about this.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to my what? Thank you. Welcome. My name is Julia Gianetti. I would be kind of surprised if you didn't know that by now. I've been attending Oak Grove for a total of 7 years now, and next year I will be attending SBCC. I moved to Ojai in 2009 when I was only 5 years old from Brazil in a really small town to another small town. I stayed here at Oak Grove for a total of 4 years and then left at the end of my 3rd grade year. And then later I came back my sophomore year in 2019. I came back to Oak Grove for a better education and because we already knew the environment and missed it a lot. And this picture is me on the very first day I ever came to Oak Grove, and I was exploring the Oak Grove with my dad. I was only 5 years old. Yeah. The art of academia. To me, the art of academia means how a student connects and synthesizes and applies knowledge. How has my struggle in math helped me discover how I learn? As you can see on the bottom left, there's a really bad test score. And I just didn't pay a lot of attention in class. I didn't take really good notes, and I didn't put a lot of effort towards my homework. And this year I decided to change that, and I found out that taking notes really, really helps me personally retain information. On the side there, that's only a fraction of the notes that I took, and I was able to get, to me, that's a pretty good test score on the top there. And I had over 8 to 7 pages of notes that helped me get that grade. And those are my artifacts right there. The art of communication. I have this lovely picture there. To me, the art of communication means to be an empathetic and articulated communicator. How did the Hawaii trip help me to find comfort in uncomfortable situations? I chose to reflect on this question because I had a particular moment in mind. I reflected on the trip as an overall, and I remembered the very first day and all the emotions that went through my mind. We had only been there for a few hours, and that was my state of mind. I was extremely overwhelmed. We were in a very, very beautiful place, and all I could think about was how many more days we had to be there. I was really overwhelmed by the fact that we weren't going to have any alone time for the next 14 days. We had to spend almost every hour and every minute together. Don't get me wrong, I love my classmates, but that's a lot of time. But I found that talking to my peers actually helped me a lot and helped me to feel comfortable in that environment, so much that I started to wake up extra early just so I could spend more time with my classmates and with the teachers who would prepare the breakfast in the morning. Looking at you, Bo. Yeah, I chose that picture to be my artifact because it was taken on the very first night and the very first moment that me and Lily got into our room. And we just both started breaking down, actually, and crying because we were so overwhelmed. But together we were able to push through, and with the help of everybody else. The art of caring in relationship. To me, the art of caring in relationship means to be socially responsible. A person who has influenced you, or who is a person who has influenced you throughout your high school years? I picked this question to reflect on because I immediately thought of my older brother, Ian, who also went to school here. He has influenced me my whole life, and ever since we were little kids, he has been interested in astronomy and space. He's always taught me almost everything that I know about it, and because of that, I will be taking astronomy classes next year in college. Yeah, I chose these pictures to be part of my artifact. That's me and Ian looking through the telescope that he has that we often take outside to look at various things. In this picture specifically, we were looking at the Orion Nebula, and I also brought this textbook that I will be using next year at SBCC that he was so kind to lend me. It's pretty cool. So yeah. Thanks, Ian. The art of aesthetics. To me, the art of aesthetics means to appreciate aesthetics in all forms of art. How have you learned to push your limits artistically? I chose to reflect on this question because over the years I've developed a very specific style when it comes to art. But I've always preferred to keep it on the smaller side. I always felt uncomfortable with going big with my pieces and underestimated myself a lot and what I was capable of. I was really hesitant, but this year the art teacher, Brian, really helped me to step out of my comfort zone and attempt a really bigger piece. And I was really hesitant to do it, but I ended up discovering that this way I can give myself a lot more creative liberty and incorporate as many ideas as I feel comfortable and can. As my artifacts, I have those two pieces. The farther, or I can't tell. The one that's closer is like this big, pretty small. And the farther one is the one that Brian challenged me to do that's like about this big. And it really, really pushed me out of my comfort zone and helped me to learn about my limits and taught me that I'm capable of a lot more than I estimated myself to be. So yeah, those are my pieces. Senior project, art market / concert. When the time rolled around, I was extremely puzzled and I had no idea what I wanted to do. I brainstormed a lot and I knew that I wanted to do something related to art because art has been a part of my life for all that I can remember. And I brainstormed a lot and came up with the idea of a art market because I had a really good experience in the holiday market a few months before and decided to recreate something along those lines. After talking to some peers, I ended up collaborating this idea with a classmate and joining forces to host a concert / art market. On the side there, that's the poster that me and Cosmo made for the event. It was really challenging to make that poster because we had no idea what we were doing with digital art, and yeah, but we made it happen. One of our first steps was finding a location in which we could make this all happen and gather all the materials that we needed. Over time, our project changed a lot, and with all the complications that we faced along the way, our project really depended on people signing up and people showing up, and we ended up reaching out to the owner of the Greater Goods nonprofit organization, and we managed to get the space for the event to take place. After that, we started to take initiative to get people to sign up and practice and make their art products, and etc. My project really helped me to find meaning in gatherings and how good it feels to do fun things with people in your life, even if everything doesn't go as planned. My project didn't really change my worldview per se, but it did really help me to open myself up more and be more confident in planning events, because usually I'm not the biggest person to take charge and be the organizer of things, but I had to. The project really, really challenged me to be organized and have responsibility when planning something, and it definitely challenged my people skills and my problem-solving skills. We were able to raise money for the music program and the Greater Goods nonprofit organization, which was awesome, and the project really made me excited to try this again. It was a really fun overall activity, and with the experience that I already have now, I would definitely attempt to do it again with a lot more planning and organization. And these are some pictures of the day itself that I was able to get of the band playing, of some of you that were there, and yeah. Looking back at life at Oak Grove, I chose this wristwatch that I have on to be my artifact to reflect on my high school experience, because I got this watch at the very beginning of my sophomore year because of my very first high school camping trip, El Capitan. And I kept it throughout my whole high school experience, and it's been with me for the whole time, and it is literally falling apart, like to shreds. But that's okay, because it held on through every struggle and every accomplishment, just like I did. And to look forward to life after OGS, yes. I'm very excited to finish this chapter of my life and transition fully from adulthood to childhood. Oh, sorry, opposite. Childhood to adulthood. Sorry. And I'm definitely really nervous about all the responsibilities that come with that and moving forward from life here at Oak Grove. But I'm definitely really excited to use all the problem-solving skills that Oak Grove taught me. And as my artifact, I have a little snippet of a chat between me and Lily, where she just kindly reminded me that we're graduating pretty soon and how scary and exciting that is, and it's time to grow up. As much as we might not want to do that, we have to. And I'm excited to do that. And that's it. Questions? Zeph.
What would you change about your past project if you could now?
I would have started the sign-up process a lot earlier and talked to the people who I wanted to be involved a lot sooner. I left everything a lot to be last minute, and that really, really jeopardized the whole thing. But it still worked out. Bo.
I just want to say thank you for actually reading the packing list and buying the watch that is mandatory.
Of course. Yeah, that. I made an effort exactly for you, Bo. And I kept it. I kept it. Yeah. Thank you.